job to carve it. In the kitchen? Oh, no, she wants it done right in front of the guests. Poor guy. But before he starts, let's see how a bird could be carved. Just watch M.O. Cullen, who makes a specialty of simplifying the art of carving. First, he turns the fowl on its side so that pointing toward the carver's right is the turkey's, taillight. With the breastbone pointing away from the carver, a leg is severed at the first joint. At least that's how it's done in the better joints. However, instead of serving the whole drumstick, make it easier for your guests by serving slices of the meat. Yes? Yes. And now, as one cuts away succulent slices from the region of the remaining second joint, one fights to overpower a strong desire to toss a hunk into one's wide-open kisser. With the bone of the second joint now exposed, you carve around it to release it from the meat. Resorting to the use of the left hand, thus, is not considered a foul. Sorry, no pun intended. And so, the denuded bone is released. Interesting work, Mr. Cullen. We now tackle that tender, juicy white meat. You carve this in a horizontal movement from the outside toward the body. Life doesn't seem so bad after all. I'm sorry, dear patrons, but this is my piece. Yowee, are my gastric juices effervescing. The maestro now cuts an oval piece of meat from the lower side of the turkey. This is called the oyster, and not bad, brethren. The purpose of this particular excavation simplifies an important phase in our culinary carvings. Thus, you neatly get at the dressing, and preclude the dressing getting at, or on, you. And so you see, my friends, carving a turkey is not so difficult after all, is it? Or is it? Well, for a guy who has never taught how, it ain't so easy, I betcha. For instance, it can't be a minor problem for a newlywed like Mr. Abner J. Poodlebean, especially when his wife's unfriendly kinfolks are a-waiting and a-watching. With an air of nonchalance, he tries to mask his inner quakings. The carving knife, please. Oh, yes, the carving knife. It does come in handy. Keeping the knife in a drawer with other utensils is a fine way to nick the blade. It should be kept away from other metal to save the edge, but she wouldn't know that. Okay, Poodlebean, here comes the carving stuff. Well? He'll show 'em. Just where do you start? Attaboy, Poodlebean, fake it. Oh, dear. Well, might as well get going. Tish tush, it's nothing, but maybe he'd better nail that fowl down. It's amazing how complicated this can become. Hey, you can't saw through a bone with a knife, you dope. Dear, dear, those darn in-laws would be present at a time like this. Gosh, it's a tough bird. Ah, jiu-jitsu. My, that bone is entirely naked. Quite a choice morsel there, fella. And now for a nice slice of white meat. Well, that's a start anyway. After all, some people do like skin, you know. With restraint that is admirable, he whittles, jabs, and prods, hither, thither, and yon, until honest effort meets its reward. His restraint ebbs a bit when he recalls that his wife insisted that he carve this pesky thing right out here in public. He could avoid a lot of fumbling by resting the bird on the flat of its side instead of balancing it on its backbone. But then his mother never told him these facts of life. In fact, his mother never told him nothing, he recently announced, doubling his negatives with grim gusto. Grr, is he inside a big dilemma? Yeah, and his wife's relatives have become so sympathetic. He'll show those monkeys he can cut up a bird. Better proceed a bit cautiously, though. Oh, so now you're telling him. Here, you do it. But no, it's his job. And so, with nary a hi-ho, off to work he goes. And does he whittle while he works. Look out, you'll lose your arm. Well, after he's through there, that tablecloth will look like a Navajo blanket. Maybe he should have worn his mittens. Here, all for you. After one peek at this Epicurean epic, little Otto suddenly becomes polite, but throws his host a dirty look. Yea, a veritable vision of gastronomic glamour. Mr. Poodlebean carries on. Goodness, what a big piece. And now, throwing finesse to the winds, he begins to resort to primitive force, determined to get some results, come what may. Attaboy, Poodlebean, old poodle. There, want to make something out of it? It's quite apparent that mine host's attitude is now definitely bordering on the, shall I say, bellicose? Sure, why not? He's as unhappy as a horsefly in a garage. Oh, wise guy, I suppose you can do better. Don't say it, Otto. For years, mother-in-law boasted that she could eat anything. Then her daughter married Abner. Dear Abner, how she loves him. Phooey. He now pries open a chasm that looks like the Grand Canyon. That's a good place to throw old razor blades. Come, my good man, that's no way to act. Why not try using the edge of the knife? Now we're getting somewhere. And so he proceeds to cut out pretty patterns. This piece, for instance, resembles an ailing halibut. There. Pop likes lots of dressing, but Pop is out of luck. It seems the turkey doesn't want to part with its dressing. Well, give the old goat a lot of peas and mashed potatoes. Cranberries? Oh, so you don't want cranberries. Imagine that mug trying to get out of eating cranberries. Who does he think he is, anyway? Here. Cheer up, Pop. After all, you could get a worse-looking plate of chow. But I don't know where. And now? Tough going. Hey! Well, you will admit he gets results, even if his technique is a bit crude. And so, the next food is for little Otto. He likes dressing, too. Oh, dear, just look at that. But he'll get that dressing out of that turkey, darn it. Zowie!